All right, we were about to implement phase milestone 3. Um, I had to restart the browser. Hopefully everything is fine. So let me show you what you would do. Uh, we have everything saved, so we're kind of safe. But let's go ahead and see what we can find that was been archived. So previous chats. Let's open this one. This is the AI that we use to verify stuff. Here's our project. We were just about to implement part 3, but I thought about something. Let's go to hell. Let's pull up. Let's go ahead and pull up this guy. So we've got, here's the game. And then here is what we use to verify. I have a question about the game. So let's actually open up the rules. And take a look here. When we set up for 4 players, this is DDD. See how that's a fancy letter, a fancy font, D. Let's go here to D. You see D. Shuffle the starting players for 6-player games. Deal out for 2-player games. Deal out 6 random tiles. For 3 and 4-player, deal out these. So we need to ask it about that. For those of you who are just now joining us, there's a part 1 and part 2 where we're trying to take a PDF and going from a PDF to Gemini and having it code and understand the rules. And as we build the game as basically a hot seat version of an old board game that I designed, we had it make an action plan where in action the second phase of the action plan where they're putting milestones. I think there's 6 milestones. We'll look at that here in a moment. But right now, I was looking at the rules, and for a 3-player and a 4-player game, we have these extra tiles that get added. We're currently playing a 4-player game, and there's only these 6, so we need to add those extra tiles, I believe. So it's been a long time since I've played the game. The game was designed like way back in like 2010 or some shit. So I could be misremembering, and I don't want to read all that crap. So and it's much faster reader than us. So let's prompt it. When you look at the rules PDF, do you see a different setup for 3 and 4-player? I believe instead of only having 6 hexes around that center conflict hex, we have an extra 3 hexes, so 9 hexes total. If that's correct, that's something that was not implemented in the game. Is it something we should implement now before we go to phase or the milestone 3? Or do you think we can wait? Here's what I'm thinking is that it needs to be dealt with now, but maybe the logic is in there. We won't have to mess with it too much. Let me know your opinion. And if your opinion is we should fix it now, go ahead and write me a prompt. Okay, so we're using Gemini to confirm the rules that I believe. We're also going to use Gemini to make a prompt. We're going to talk to this version of Gemini, this tab, specifically just like you're talking to a friend or something, a coworker, and not using fancy language. It's going to use coder language and stuff to help the prompts get written. I suggest don't write your own prompts for the coder.
I have re-examined the rules PDF, specifically page 6, setup and player mat examples, and compared it to the current code, phase 2, HTML, and the rulebook logic. 1. Verification of the 3 to 4 player setup concern. You are absolutely correct. 2-player rules. Deal 6 start tiles around the conflict tile. 3 to 4 player rules. Page 6 diagram. Deal 6 start tiles around the conflict tile and place the remaining 3 start tiles randomly on the map attached to the outer edges. Total tiles on board, 1 plus 6 plus 3 equals 10 tiles. Conflict plus ring 1 plus 3 extras. Current code, phase 2, HTML. The code currently does this.
Okay, so while it's explaining all that, I'm going to go ahead and paste what it asks us to paste here, because eventually it's going to say, hey, paste this prompt. Here's the prompt for Gemini 3.0. So we're going to go ahead and paste it now. Look at the code, see that it's getting generated, and finish listening.
Result. It puts the extra 3 start tiles into the deck, not onto the board. This is correct for 2 players, but incorrect for 3 to 4 players. 2. Should we fix this now? Yes. You must fix this now. Here is why. Map geometry. Placing those 3 extra tiles changes the shape of the map. If we wait until milestone 3, player actions, the foot action, explore, might get confused about where legal placement is because the board shape is wrong. Deck size. Currently, the deck has 13 cards, 3 start plus 10 game. In a 3 to 4 player game, the deck should only have 10 cards, just the game tiles. If you don't fix this, the deck is stacked, with easy tiles that should already be on the board. 3. The fix strategy. We need to update the create initial state function to check the number of players. If players equals 2, keep current logic, 6 on board, 3 in deck. If players equals 3 or 4, put all 9 start tiles on the board, 6 in the inner ring, 3 in the outer ring. Here is the prompt to fix the setup logic before moving to milestone 3. Copy and paste this into your chat with Gemini 3.0, role, Senior Logic Programmer, Game Architect. Current status, Milestone 2.5 visuals are complete. Logic audit revealed a setup defect for 3 to 4 players. Action required, implement conditional board setup based on player count. I have reviewed the rulebook, page 6, and the current create initial state function. The code currently defaults to the 2-player setup, 6 start tiles on board.
I have another question for you. The next question is, when you're looking at the game, is it good to, I was going to ask it something, but basically the problem I'm seeing with the game right now is, do we need to set it up, like have a how many players? It might be something we deal with later. But basically, I need to prompt it for that. Should we implement the player count selection now or later? It's probably going to say now. I hope not. Boom. No. Not correct. We're going to copy this code. We're going to paste it in here. Implement it now. Okay. So it went ahead and wrote a prompt. I'm not going to give it this prompt for the 2v3 or 4 player because it placed the hexes in the wrong place. If you notice that it doesn't understand, the coder placed the hex as though it didn't understand where those hexes go. When you look at the image on, I think it's like page 3 or page 4, whatever. I guess if you count, if you're not looking at page number, if you're just counting the actual pages on what looks like page, let me see, cover page 1, 2, 3, 4. On page 5, you'll see that the hexes, how they're placed versus the way the game is placing them now. If you can't see it, I'll take a picture of the way the game is placing it now. We'll write a new prompt if you can see the mistake on fixing that mistake and then adding the player count selection. So here's the code that I pasted right after the prompt. Basically bad code. You can see how this should be here, this should be here, and this should be here. Instead, it's kind of like sticking way in the fudge out there for no reason. Hopefully, it's supposed to be multimodal, which means it can see, it can read text as well as analyze photos. I think multimodal could also mean that it can do it can look at multiple things. There's a few things it can't look at, such as like I don't think Gemini 3.0 in this version can look at video, but I'm not sure. I use Notebook LM for that. It didn't initiate.
This is the final polish step. You are right to pause here. I have analyzed the code versus the PDF diagrams, specifically page 6. The geometry mistake. The current code places the extra 3 tiles by simply multiplying the coordinates by 2. dir q asterisk 2. The result. This places the tiles in a straight line extending out from the center.
Okay, so while it's telling me that, I think it understands. So I'm copying the prompt, pasting it in there, and finishing listening and while the coder is working.
The problem. In the physical game, page 6 diagram, the tiles fit snugly into the grooves of the honeycomb. They don't just stick out, they nestle between 2 other tiles. The fix. We need to manually define the exact coordinates for those 3 tiles so they lock into the board shape correctly, rather than relying on a simple math multiplier. The missing feature, as you noted, default _player _count is hard-coded to 4. We need the setup screen so the player can actually choose 2, 3, or 4. Here is the prompt to fix the geometry and add the setup screen. Copy and paste this into your chat with Gemini 3.0, role, Senior Game Developer. Current status, Milestone 2.5. Visuals are good, but map geometry and game initialization are incomplete. Action required. Implement setup screen and fix 3 to 4 player map shape. I have reviewed Phase 2, HTML against the rulebook, page 6. We have 2 specific issues to fix before moving to Milestone 3. 1. Fix map geometry, the star shape defect. Your current logic, dir q2, dir r2, places the 3 extra tiles for 3 to 4 player games directly outward. This looks like a spoke and is visually incorrect compared to the physical board. Requirement. The 3 extra tiles must nestle into the grooves of the inner ring to form a tighter shape. The fix. Instead of calculating dir asterisk 2, please use these specific coordinates for the 3 extra tiles, ring 2, so they abut 2 inner tiles. Tile A, top, Q, 1, R, minus 2, nests between top right and top left. Tile B, bottom right, Q, 1, R, 1, nests between bottom right and bottom. Tile C, bottom left, Q, minus 2, R, 1, nests between bottom left.
Okay, we don't really need to see that. It made the right shape, but now you have these tokens on the outside. So I'm going to ask it about the token logic here in a moment. I think it's another thing we'll need to fix before we go to Milestone 3. There's a lot of things to fix, but there's a lot of things going right. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And let's see what happens when we do 2. Yep, that's correct. Refresh, pick 3. Let's see if it'll give us 3 players or 4 players. So blue. Seedling is here. This is wrong, but I'll get it right here in a minute. Seedling, grass here, foot, water, grass, foot, grass, wind, and then okay, so that part is cool. We have 3 players. It's working correctly. I'm going to assume the rest is working correctly. I shouldn't assume, but I'm going to. Okay, so we got this part fixed. There's a lot of questions I have. I'm noticing a lot of missing things on the on the milestone path. Let me give you the full list of the milestones. You already have the rules. The next question that I have about the game is it places the tokens completely incorrectly. Not completely incorrectly, but it doesn't place them correctly. Should we worry about token placement at the very beginning? Because it's placing tokens on the outside of these added tiles. And when you look at the rules, the tokens are never placed on these three additional tiles that are not part of the initial setup. Like when you look at, I guess it would be setup H. Let's go to setup H. Shuffle the six black tokens face down, randomly place them face up in their pictured map tile corners. If you'll see, they're not placed on. It's like if those three tiles that we place for a 4-player game and a 3-player game don't exist yet. They're placed only touching the initial 6 tiles on those corners, but the original game has it wrong. So if I hit, well, the other thing is like I hit 2 players, is it doesn't have the full count of tokens being placed out. Or, I mean, they're not being placed in the right places initially anyway. The tokens, the original, 6 tokens are supposed to be placed abutting the original 6 tokens where they come together. Currently in the game, they can be placed where they're just off, not abutting any but one, and they're all the initial 6 are abutting only 2 tiles unless we go to the 3 or 4 player. But if we're talking strictly the 2-player game, they're abutting currently tiles that don't have a that are the tokens are sitting on only one tile where they should be touching at least 2. That token setup never changes for 3 or 4 as far as how many tiles they need to be. I mean, as far as on an XY where they need to be sitting. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. Let's talk strictly about a 2-player game and where those tiles need to go. I mean, where those tokens need to go adjacent to the tiles, and then you add the other 3 tiles. Those places are still the same. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And I'll give you the current code so you can look at it as well. Here's the code. So we have our initial prompt. We have the current code. I see the mistake. Maybe we have the document here. Nope, that's not it. We don't have the action plan. So maybe, hopefully, we have that action plan from earlier. So the action plan, that's milestone 2. That was us building a web coder. We might not have it. That's not it. Okay, so I have it saved somewhere else. We'll use that. One moment, please. It's the conflict of plants action plan. We'll download as a plain text. Then, hold on one moment. I'll go ahead and look at we'll go ahead and copy the document. So basically, I went into Google Docs. I pulled up our action plan. We're going to go and put it in the conflict of plants Gemini screen. Then we'll Okay, now that we got the action plan, we're going to give this action plan to this verifier guy so that it has the scope of what we're trying to do. So now it's got the original PDF, which it's had for a while. It's got the oh, we have an issue. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to refresh. And let me ask it if it can see. We're going to give it the rules. We're going to give it the action plan. We're going to give it all of this information. Which is the code. That's its information. Let me go ahead and delete all this junk here. And let's see if we come across any problemas. Yeah, what I should have caught earlier, and unfortunately I didn't, is that see where these things are off by themselves, these tokens, they're always supposed to start in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. Okay, master prompt. Copy this and paste it. Hopefully this fixes geometry. Hopefully we're not sitting it on a journey while that it doesn't understand.
You are absolutely correct to pause here. You have identified a logic error in how the black tokens are distributed, and you are double-checking the marked card issue. Here is the breakdown of the situation based on the rulebook and your observations. 1. The token placement issue, logic error, the rules. There are exactly 6 black tokens in the game. They are placed on specific corners of the start tiles, the inner ring. The bug in current code. The current code finds every empty corner, outer corners, and tries to put tokens on them. In a 3 to 4 player game, this wrongly puts tokens on the far edges of the extra tiles. The fix. The code must be told. Only place black tokens on the 6 specific corners of the inner ring tiles that point away from the center. It should ignore the extra 3 tiles, ring 2, regarding token setup. 2. The marked card issue, visual error. Your observation. You saw a gold color on a face-down token. The cause.
Okay, so that is an old problem creeping back in. See, I didn't tell anything about a gold issue. That was an issue we had 4 prompts ago. So what does that tell us? That we're having context collapse, which means this prompt is no good anymore. This is the last time we're going to use it. We are going to start all over. Basically, we're going to start a new chat. Forget about that last prompt and all those lists of prompts. They're dead to us now. So you can see why. Well, actually, what we should do, this is what we're going to do. We had context collapse. I stopped listening to it because there's issues. Like, it's going to mix old problems and new problems. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to give it a final prompt. please write me a document detailing all the changes you've made and all the things we've had to do to get the coder back on track, comparing to the original action plan. Maybe highlight some things that were missing. Uh, make the document very comprehensive. I'm going to place it in the. I'm going to give it to the project manager, and that project manager happens to be an AI using Gemini 3.0. I gave it that much information so it knows who it's writing it for, because it'll change the way it writes depending on who it's talking to. Two player, wrong places. Extremely wrong places. Refresh. Three player, extremely wrong places. It's exactly where they're not supposed to be. Cool. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and export it to documents. We'll have that there. Um, yeah, I would love to still have this uh, AI because it knows what's going on, but we have to start all over basically, and this is the crappy part. So let's go. What we'll do now is I couldn't find the project manager amongst this list of stuff. We'll take a look and see if we can find them. This is exactly what I was talking about before whenever I said um, you need to save everything as you go. See, we lost that, so we're going to have to start all over with the project manager. So let's do that. We'll just start a new chat here. Here we have the verifier that we stopped using because of context collapse. We have what he did. We have our rule book. And we have our text editor. We don't have the game up because it's not working right anyway. They still needs to be some fixing. So let's start here. Let's go ahead and give it the files we know we need to give it. We need to give it conflict of plants, the rule book. We need to give it the action plan. And we'll give it the most current version of the game. We'll switch to code. We'll copy that. Let's give it a prompt. We got to bring this AI up to speed. Had we been doing things correctly, we wouldn't have to do that. We'd have everything documented, and that was kind of my fault. We'll fix that. I'm currently working on converting my original game. I provided a PDF into an HTML file. Period. That way I can hot seed and play with my friends on my computer, or I can play test and do whatever. In doing so, I have an action plan which Gemini 3.0 created. This action plan I don't feel is complete enough. I realize that as I am doing milestone 2 on the action plan, and I'm having to go back and fix a lot of things that were maybe left out of the original action plan. I've kind of hit a hurdle. But right now, I need to get you as the project manager up to speed. Your job is going to be to write the different things that we're doing and give very specific instructions to the coder. We're going to use another AI to verify the code that Gemini is making. The coder is an AI. There's a problem in the game right now, but we'll fix that in a moment once we get you up to speed. Here is the current game file. Okay, so we gave it a little bit of information. We gave it the original PDF, we gave it our action plan countered an error. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this so we don't have to do that crap again. It's conflict here. Let's upload it. Let's give it the action plan. Hopefully we don't have the same error again, but it's highly likely. So this is just a little hiccup, a little hitch in our get along, as they used to say. It just looked at the corners. Hopefully it understands. It might see the problem.
Hello, I am ready to step in as your project manager. I have reviewed the rulebook, the previous action plan, and the current codebase. You are correct to pause. The previous plan and the current code have drifted apart, and there are significant logic gaps regarding the abutting system, how tiles share corners, and specific phase rules that will break the game if we proceed to phase 4 without fixing them. Here is the situation report.
Okay, I only listened to half of what you, or a very small portion of what you said, because I listened to what you said before we got to situation report. Then I stopped reading. We have only done phase 2. We're not on phase 3. We were about to go to phase 3. We're only on phase 1 and 2, and we're still trying to get the logic right to where it puts the tokens on the right abutting parts of the hexes, which it's currently not doing correctly. Assuming that I didn't read anything you said last, now that you have the new information, you know that we're about to do milestone 3 once we get these corner token things fixed. There's no point in me listening to it because it thought we were going to phase 4. It needs to understand where we're at, which is, milestone 4. We're on milestone 3, but we're not even going to do it because we got to fix this stuff.
That clarifies things perfectly. You are exactly right to stop reading. If the abutting logic, how tiles connect, is broken, nothing else in the game will work. The computer thinks corners that should be shared are actually separate, creating micro gaps in the map. We are pausing milestone 3. We are going to strictly fix milestone 1, the map, and milestone 2, phase 1 and 2 logic. Here is the updated instruction block for your AI coder. It focuses entirely on fixing the map topology and the phase 2 dice rolling rules. Role: you are a senior game physics engineer. Task: fix the abutting icon, topology and phase 1 to 2 logic. Critical issue: the blocker. The current build graph function uses math, round on pixel coordinates to detect shared corners. This is causing floating point errors where adjacent tiles do not share a corner token. Requirement: refactor the graph builder to use canonical corner IDs based on neighbor adjacency, not pixel math. Rule reference: an icon is said to be abutting all the tiles that it is resting upon, abutting at most 3 tiles or as few as 1 tile. Instructions: 1. Refactor build graph, topology fix. Do not use pixel coordinates to merge corners.
Okay, so I am not a coder. and I don't know exactly, you know, um, that it's being correct in what needs to be fixed. So I'm going to put out Gemini 3.0. I'm going to give it this information. First, I'm going to give it the action plan. I'm going to give it the game. I'm going to give it the current code. Let's go ahead and copy the contents of this. We're going to put it in our Web++. That's not the one that's giving us. I got the wrong one. So let's see. It was this one, I think. It's the correct one. Yes. Save this. Index 15. I really need to fix that editor when I get a chance. Let's see. Phase 2 broken. We'll just say broken for now. It's not necessarily broken. We'll give it phase 2 broken. Okay. And then we're going to give it this. I just hired on a new project manager. It's an AI. It's Gemini 3.0. I am curious because it sees problems that I don't see. I'm not a coder, so I don't understand if it's correct or not. If there's really these errors it's talking about or not. I'm gonna paste the text that it gave me, and we're going to analyze it and see, is it correct or is it not correct? I want to make sure that my project manager is not making us do extra work that we don't necessarily need to do. Okay, so also, this is the project manager is writing instructions for a coder, which is completely separate Gemini 3.0. And I'm wondering if he's sending the coder to do an action that does not need to be done, basically redundant. Let me go ahead and put in his instructions to the coder. I want you to look at the files, the HTML we currently have, look at the way the game works, look at the milestones. We're currently finishing milestone 2. Milestone 3 will be next after we get the tokens to be able to be placed on the right hex spots. Currently, they're not being placed in the right spots. Take a look and then tell me if you think that the project manager is doing redundant or asking the coder to do a redundant job. Okay, so now we'll put the instructions. I'm going to put parentheses, Control V, the instructions from the project manager and see what he says. Hopefully, I'm barking up the wrong tree, but that just sounded kind of weird. It was kind of funky that the project manager was talking about basically spaces that were not going to work when we go forward. That its math is not right because it's using pixels. I see a lot of no's, so it probably was on the right path.
This is a very insightful question. It is smart to verify if an AI project manager is hallucinating busy work, or if they have genuinely caught a structural flaw. I have analyzed the Phase 2 broken HTML code, the game rules, and your AI PM's instructions. The verdict: your AI project manager is 100% correct. It has identified a silent killer in the code that, if left unfixed, would make the game unplayable in the next phase. It is not making you do redundant work. It is saving you from having to rewrite the entire game logic next week.
Okay, so when it said that, I got a verification from a second AI. What I'm doing is went ahead and pasted the instructions while we're finishing listening to what it has to say.
Here is the breakdown of why these instructions are necessary, explained in non-coder terms. 1.
Sweet.
The critical issue, pixel math versus graph logic. The PM's instruction, refactor build graph to stop using math, round on pixels. Is it redundant? No. It is urgent. The problem. Currently, the code identifies the corners of the hexes by calculating their position on the screen, pixels, and rounding the number. Example. Tile A calculates a corner to be at pixel 49.49, rounds to 49. The neighbor, tile B, calculates the shared corner to be at 49.
Okay, I'm going to finish listening to that, I swear. Okay, once we finish doing this, I have a problem. There are tokens during setup that it's being placed in the wrong starting places on the hexes. So these black tokens, when you look on the rules and see where the black tokens should be placed, they're placed almost opposite where they're supposed to be placed. Not directly opposite, because then it would be back to correct again. But whatever. The black tokens need to be abutting 2 tiles on those original 6 hexes that are placed around the starting hex. Instead, they're placed in a way where they're only abutting 1 hex. Basically, what I'm saying is the black tokens should be placed on vertices of 2 hexes. And then when it goes to 3 players, some of them are on vertices of 3 hexes. But currently, if you put it as a 2-player, it's on the vertice of single hexes or abutting only 1 hex. They should always, in a 2-player game, 3-player game, and a 4-player game, those black tokens are essentially placed in the same locations abutting 2 hexes, sometimes 3 when you add in those 3 extra hexes. Is there an easy way to be able to explain this better? Because I think there is a roadblock between me being able to point to where it needs to go and you visually understanding where it needs to go. Maybe you can make me a diagram of a 2-player version of the game alongside a 3-person player of the game. It's the same as a 4-player, so you just need to do a 2-player and the 3 or 4-player diagrams with maybe letters around the diagram showing where those black tiles should go, and then I could tell you where those black tiles should go in both scenarios. And don't change the letters, meaning make sure there's that the letters from the original diagram and the 2-player diagram and the 2-3 diagram are the same letters, so there's no confusion. Hopefully you understand what I mean. I went ahead and opened the canvas environment for you to make that diagram for me to see and get this correct so that we can get the coder back on track. See, that was very confusing. I'm just like talking to, like if I was talking to a friend or something, and there's conflicting language in there. But this is the way that I do it. You don't have to have the magic prompt. What you have to have is a lot of patience and the ability to work with AI as though it was another worker. Supposedly it fixed it. We'll figure that out in a second. That's strange. Dude. That's cool. When you touch these things, they do that. Okay. It's writing the thing that we're talking about. It's doing the tool. Let's go over here and let's go and see. We're going to use this one to verify that the coder did the job. Here's what the coder did after giving him instructions. Please take a look and verify that everything has been fixed as accordingly. If not, let me know what I need to tell the project manager to get a good prompt so that we can get this fixed. His little tool that he was giving me broke, so we're fixing the error. It's cool. He's making me a little map to fix the issue. Okay, how do you use the tool? Open the preview. Let's see. I prefer a robot.
How to use this tool. Open the preview. You will see the map layouts for 2-player and 3/4-player modes. I have labeled every relevant corner with a letter, AZ. Your job, look at the diagram and tell me. For 2 players, place tokens at letters X, Y, Z. For 3/4 players, place tokens at letters A, B, C. Once you give me those letters, I can hardcode the logic so the black tokens are always placed perfectly.
In the 2-player version, you have the correct coordinates for where the black tokens go. But when we go to the 3/4 player, let me give you the letters. We need G, J, Q, U, P, and I. That's where the starting black tokens go.
This is excellent work by your coder. I have reviewed the code against the project manager's instructions, and every single fix has been implemented correctly.
Yay!
Here is the verification checklist showing exactly how the code now meets the requirements. 1. Topology fix. The critical issue status fixed. Evidence. In the build graph function.
All right, so we have this. We probably need to save it. It's probably a good spot because we have that fix that we didn't even know needed to be done. We go to WordPad. I'll paste this bitch there. Awesome. Then we're going to go ahead and save it. We're not going to do anything with it for now because there's going to be a fix coming up real quick. Let's see, what do you say? It didn't play it. Got to do it again. Boom. Now we see the little thinking icon.
That is excellent. Identifying G, J, Q, U, P. I confirms that for the 3/4-player map, the black tokens must go in the valleys, the nooks where tiles meet, rather than the tips, the outermost points. This gives us a clear algorithmic rule for the coder. 2-player. Place on corners touching one tile, the tips. 3/4-player. Place on corners touching 2 or 3 tiles, the valleys, G, J, Q, U, P, I. We now have the complete picture to fix the map topology.
I think you misunderstood me. Let's start all over. Assume that I didn't give you any information a while ago. Okay, for the 2-player, D, G, M, O, L, F. Like you said before, the valleys in between the touching hexes. Then when we go to 3 or 4 players, it is G, J, N. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me redo that. G, J, Q, U, P, I. G, J, Q, U, P, I. Okay, so I screwed up a while ago.
Phase logic.
We have a problem. So let's copy this. Hopefully we're having server issues. Probably because I'm trying to do too much at once. It was G6, so there. Let's open the tool. I had to go to a previous text to get it. I think you misunderstood me. Let's try this again. Assume that I didn't give you any coordinates. Let's try this one more time. For a 2-player, a black token goes where 2 hexes touch in the valleys. So let me give you the rundown. It is D, G, M, O, L, and F. In the 3 or 4 player, we go G, J, Q, U, P, I. Okay, so hopefully that fixed it. Code. We'll get that fixed hopefully soon.
Lines 205 to 200.
This is just giving us the report that everything was done correctly. We're not going to bother listening to that anymore. I'm worried that this is going to time out, so I'm going to copy this that I wrote so I don't have to redo it. No, it's got it. Yes, it understands.
Got it. I misunderstood your previous cue. You were correcting the logic of the placement, valleys versus tips, not just giving me random coordinates. Thank you for clarifying. The key takeaway is, in all versions, 2, 3, and 4 player, black tokens go in the valleys, where 2 or more tiles touch, not on the tips, outermost points. Also, I see the list DGMOLNF for the 2-player map likely contains a typo, 7 letters for 6 tokens. I suspect that D might have been meant as the or a typo, leaving G, M, O, L, N, F 6 spots, which perfectly aligns with the 6 valleys of a hexagonal ring. Here is the corrected, consolidated instruction block for the AI coder. It prioritizes the topology fix, abutting logic, and the correct setup rules you just provided. Role: you are a senior React developer and game engine architect. Task: refactor conflict of plans to fix the map topology and token setup. Critical priority: topology, the micro gap bug. The current code uses pixel math, round, to find corners. This fails to register shared corners correctly. You must switch to canonical IDs based on logical adjacency. Setup logic, black tokens, the previous placement logic, furthest corners, tips, is wrong. The user has explicitly clarified that black tokens must go in the valleys, corners where 2 or more tiles meet. Instructions: 1. Refactor build graph, canonical topology, action, rewrite corner generation completely. Logic: iterate through the hex grid using axial coordinates, Q, R.
If we get this fixed with this one, I'm worried because that when you look at it, this D, it removed it right here, but it's probably a typo. Hopefully. We're just going to go with it and see if it does it correctly and infers where it goes. If it doesn't, I think we can fix it very easily once it fixes this thing. Hopefully, we're on the right track. Still, we've done quite. This is pretty cool that it built this thing. Dang, that's a lot of code. Not really, but yes, it's going to start creeping up to quite a bit. And this is cool because we'll have to refactor it into separate files at some point because it's going to get too large. And hopefully you'll see. I'll give you an example of the things that you need to do and how to work with a multi-file HTML for you non-coders like me. You have to go through all that I had to go through to learn to do this. I mean, learn to do this, but learn how to talk to AI and deal with AI BS. So as it goes and does its thing, let's look at the. I don't think we gave it this. We might not need to. It's done. 2-player. They're in the correct places. All right. Refresh. 3-player. They're not in the right places. Ugh. So close. Refresh. See if it does the same thing with a 3-player. Yeah. See, like it's almost right, but it doesn't quite understand it. Let's go ahead and do the 4-player. 2-player has it right finally. We'll get this code. Gonna copy the code. Gonna talk to homeboy. The 2-player spaces where the coder is placing the black tokens is perfect. The problem is that it's basically the same place for the 3 or 4-player. Just when you add those 3 hexes, sometimes those valleys end up having 3 hexes instead of being a valley of 2. And the coder's really having a hard time understanding that. If you look at the rules, you can see it very clearly that where the black tokens lie is going to be basically always the same. They're going to be randomly placed in those areas, but when you go to from a 2-player to a 3-player, when it interprets what you mean by valleys, it switches. Look at the code and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, I should have told it not to code, because what it's invariably going to try to do is fix it its freaking self. It's going to say, I can see where it's a problem here. Let me do it myself. And that means I'm going to have to stop it. I just know it's going to do that. And our job is to stop it. We don't want it to code, because if it codes, especially something this long, we are not going to have this memory of everything that we're doing with this version of our prompt. Basically, our project manager is going to die. They're going to start hallucinating and stuff. Oh, awesome. It just made instructions for the coder. Awesome. Cool. It's working on the instructions. As soon as we can get through this little hump and we get to milestone 3, we can start with a new coder. Because at some point they're going to have context creep and context collapse and hallucinations. Context creep and hallucinations are generally about the same. Hallucinations out of nowhere, meaning we ask it to do something and it starts talking about, you know, farming or something. Context creep is where it starts looking at older prompts and starts thinking they're current prompts. The other thing would be context collapse, where it totally loses its place and we totally have to start all over. Well, it doesn't have to totally lose its place. It could just lose its place a little bit, and then we have to basically start all over. I don't know what it's doing. If it's generating all the code for the whole thing, it is. I knew it was going to do that. So I hit the stop button. It didn't do anything. It's trying to code the whole thing. We don't want it to code the whole thing. We have a coder for that. I don't know if I explicitly told you, but you're not supposed to code. Just give me instructions for the coder to fix it. Yeah, it was trying to code. I should have had this on code so we can see what it's doing. I didn't realize it was going to start trying to, basically it said, you don't know how to fix it? I'll fix it myself. It's very proactive, and I hate that about it. All right, here we go. Here's what we need. Role, senior engineer, blah, 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 blah. Copy that. Get it working. Let the coder do its job. Let's see what we're having it do. Looks like we're having connection issues. We refresh.
I apologize for providing the full code block previously. I will switch back to the project manager role. You are absolutely correct. The issue is that the code is looking for a strict valley of 2, but in the 3 to 4 player map, adding the expansion tiles turns some of those valleys of 2 inches into valleys of 3. The code needs to be flexible enough to recognize that a valley is simply any corner that isn't a tip, one tile, or the center touching the conflict tile. Here are the precise instructions to give the coder to fix the topology and the setup logic. Role: you are a senior game engine developer. Task: refactor the map topology and fix the setup logic for black tokens. Context: the project manager and user have identified 2 critical failures. Topology: floating point math is causing micro gaps between tiles. Adjacent tiles are not sharing.
Okay, so we're also noticing context creep, I believe, where it said, where was it at? Floating point.
Corners correctly. Setup logic: the black token placement is failing in 3 to 4 player mode. The current logic looks for corners sharing exactly 2 tiles. However, in 3 to 4 player mode, expansion tiles are placed in the valleys, meaning those specific corners now share 3 tiles. The logic must account for this shift. Requirements: 1. Refactor build graph, canonical IDs. Stop using pixel coordinates, x, y, to generate corner ID. Start using canonical logic. Iterate through the grid using axial coordinates, q, r. Identify a corner by the sorted list of hex coordinates that share it, e.g., q0r0, q1r1, q0r1. Ensure that tile, corner IDs references these unique canonical IDs so that neighbors share the exact same memory object. Calculated property: add an abutting count property to every corner object.
Okay, so I put the instructions in the coder while we're listening to what instruction it gave us. Problem: we've had context collapse, meaning it started doing some other shit. This might be some of our code, but we know our code is 1,000 plus lines, and this is not usable. And of course, you can't preview it, of course. So, start a new prompt. We need to go ahead and add. Well, here's what we're going to do. We'll open up Canvas, tell it, or set up Canvas. For some reason, it's not doing it, so don't hit Canvas. Put a placeholder in the Canvas area for me to write code for you to look at. I should have probably told it to do it in HTML. That's probably going to bite me in the butt here in a second. When I say bite me in the butt, I mean it's going to waste time. I knew we had a coder for too long. All right, so here is the window. Actually, that's not what we want to do. Go ahead and just put that's the last version of the code that worked. Please copy the index 16 that I just gave you and put it in the Canvas area. So here it's going to write that code. Oh, well, originally I just gave it an a PDF of a game that I'd made like in 2010 or something like that. It's basically a physical board game, and I'm having it make a web-based hot seat version for us to play. I'm going through how difficult or how easy it is to do that. It's not just a one-shot thing. I'm going through all of what I would normally go through. I've never done this before with this game, so I'm kind of showing what you do with Gemini 3.0 to get things done, what to watch out for, my rules for making this work. I've got a lot of hours into playing with Gemini. So with that, hopefully helping other designers, board game designers, get their stuff into HTML so that they can play test it by themselves or with friends just on a computer instead of having to drag along your board games. It's great for prototyping. Usually I'll go from idea to HTML prototype and then start building something physical, or that's what I've been doing. But this is the other way where I've already got a game built. I'm trying to take it to HTML. We are not even halfway done, but it's done some really cool stuff. Currently, like, I think here's the PDF of the game. It's a physical board game. It never got published, but it may in the future. I need to revisit it and fix it, but it's got an excellent rule book that I've illustrated, I think, really well. So we're using Gemini. We basically gave it the PDF, and then we are showing the process. Okay, so 2-player, here's the game. Now, graphically, of course, it's not going to be like mine, but that's not what I'm going for. I'm just trying to show you how to prototype. Okay, so that's correct. Let's try the 3-player version. It's still not correct. Cool. Let's take the instructions that we had. Let's see, where do the instructions start? Hello, nope. Roll, here's where we start. We're copying the prompt that we had AI make. Copy that guy, place that here, and let it do it. So basically, I am running one AI only doing code. Its object is just make me code, just engineer this code. I'm having another AI write the prompts to tell this AI how to do it. This AI, his only job is to code. It is to ensure that the coder lasts as long as he possibly can before I have to switch to a new coder. Because the more and more you play with AI within the same prompts, the more it does, the quicker you're going to get to hallucinations, context collapse, and project creep, or context creep. Sorry, it's different than project creep. So now we had an issue with the way it understood my rules. We're fixing it before we do milestone 3. Basically, we wrote an action plan. That's not the action plan. Don't have the action plan up, I don't think, which is instructions on how to do this in phases to build this game. I've got the first video, which shows like the very beginning process. We're already on video 3. We're just fixing issues that we've come across. Currently writing code. It's really cool. Amazing tool. AI is just an amazing workhorse. A lot of people are using it for creative work or images and stuff, but that's nothing compared to what it can do. Awesome. Let's see. So that is correct. Let's refresh. 3-player, that's not correct. It still doesn't have it. 4-player, not correct. So we notice an error. So we need to get the code. We'll switch out to the coding section. I'm copying that. I'm going to tell the AI that there's a problem. Here's the code. It looks like the coder still doesn't understand where we want to put those black tokens. We need to come up with a much more robust prompt for it to understand. What do you suggest we do? We can think outside of the box. I pasted the code along with that prompt. It's looking at it. Hopefully it won't start trying to code itself, because we don't want this AI coding. We want to make it instructions for the coder. The reason why is because if he starts coding, one, you don't want the person writing the instructions to also code it, because they're having to think and code at the same time, and that's going to use up all your tokens, and it's going to waste your time. You want this AI only making instructions. We'll switch to here to make sure he's not coding, because that's not what we want. And let's see what he says. Sometimes you have to hit this twice, like I said, to hear what the AI...
I understand. The code is getting confused because adding the extra tiles in 3 to 4 player mode creates new valleys, corners touching the expansion tile plus 1 inner tile, that look just like the correct valleys to the algorithm, causing it to place tokens in the wrong spots. We need to stop asking the code to look for valleys based on how many tiles touch them. Instead, we need to tell it to look for the permanent structure of the inner ring.
Okay, while it's giving us what it's going to do, I'm going to go ahead and copy its instructions and paste them here, what it wants the coder to do, just to save on time while we're listening.
Here is the outside-the-box logic. The black token spots are defined by the inner ring, ring 1, only. The expansion tiles, ring 2, are irrelevant to finding the spot. They just happen to sit next to it sometimes. Here is the instruction block for the AI coder. Role: you are a senior game engine architect. Task: fix the setup logic for black tokens using ring 1 topology logic. The problem: the previous logic, a button count greater than equals 2, is flawed. In 3 to 4 player mode, the expansion tiles create new corners that touch 2 tiles, the expansion tile plus 1 ring 1 tile. The code cannot distinguish these false valleys from the true valleys, the grooves between 2 ring 1 tiles. The solution: robust logic. Do not use the global A button count. Instead, Locate the tokens based strictly on the relationship between ring 1 tiles. Instructions. 1. Implement get black token spots, corners, tiles. Instead of filtering all corners, find the specific 6 corners that define the outer grooves of ring 1. Step A. Identify the center tile. Q equals 0, R equals 0. Step B. Identify.
Okay, so hopefully these instructions work. It gave it to the coder. Coder's doing its job trying to fix the problem that we came across. Hopefully this fixes it so we can go to milestone 3. We're just about halfway done with the code. So what we did is we found a problem in its logic and where it was placing tokens. It was placing it in the wrong starting spots because we're still on the startup for the difference between a 2-player and a 3-4 player. We're trying to explain to the coder where this goes. We're using a AI to write the prompts for the coder, and also using that AI to make sure it understands where we want those things done. We're just about close to being done here. We are done. 2-player correct spaces. We'll refresh. We'll start for 3-player correct spaces. All right, 4-player correct spaces. We'll refresh here. Forest is here. Tropic. Let's make sure that happens again. Tropic. It's different now. Awesome. We've got it. So now that we have good code, we're going to get our code and we're going to save it to our computer using our web pad. There's our preview. Everything is cool. We'll save that. Awesome. Let's get that opened up. One moment. That one goes hell. Change the name of it. One moment. We'll call it phase 2. Let me rename this, or let me get rid of phase 2. We'll go ahead and rename this properties. We're going to call this, file that we just made. We're going to call it phase 2 because we just finished milestone 2. Let's go ahead and open it up in our browser. Phase 2, open. There's our game. We'll play 2-player. Sweet. Everything looks cool. Awesome. All right, so let's go. We've got that done. So let's look at our. We need to do, what do they call it? Let's see. We need to do milestone 3. So let's have it bring the milestone document into the canvas area. Can you show me the milestone document in the canvas area, please? I say please and thank you all that whenever I'm talking to AI, because studies have showed, now this is back in Gemini 2.5, that being rude to AI versus being polite, your results end up better being polite. I don't know if that's true still, but it was my practice back in 2.5, and I ran that for like 6 months, so that's what I'm used to. Okay, so we are on milestone 3.
Crystal Ball Milestone 3, the action engine, pending. Goal, program the specific behaviors of the 6 core action icons. Do not start until M1 and M2 are verified. Movement helper, create reusable move cube, from tile, to tile, color, function. Action, foot, draw tile, place adjacent, calculate VP, +2 per neighbor. Action, grass, combat iterative removal, 1 opponent -1 of each repeat. Action, water/wind, move cubes to adjacent tiles. Action, seedling, minority scoring on abutting tiles.
Okay, so this is all the stuff we have to get done in milestone 3. What I did is I uploaded the PDF of the game rules and the instructions for milestone 3. What I could do, actually the better thing to do would be, let's go to this AI and let's go ahead and say to write us a prompt. Write us a prompt for milestone 3 using the rules of the game and using milestone 3 to get the coder to get milestone 3 done. So they're going to write the prompt. We're not going to use this. We're still going to give it the rules so it has context. It's important to have context always whenever you're dealing with AI. If it doesn't have context, it's going to make up context. It's never going to say or never going to ask you a question on what did you mean? It's going to assume and go forward. It's very proactive. I know it sounds dumb, but once you start working with AI a lot, you start forgetting of its nature. And you start treating it like a person, and it's not. Okay, so I took its action plan. I should have probably listened to it first. We're going to listen to what it has to say while the coder attempts to get this right.
I have drafted the prompt for milestone 3. This instruction block maps the specific gameplay rules from the PDF, pages 8 to 13, to the code structure we have built. Copy the text below and paste it to your AI coder. Role: you are a senior game engine developer. Task: implement milestone 3, the phase 4 action engine. Context: we have a working map topology, token setup, and phases 1 to 3, setup, manipulation, dispense. We now need to build phase 4, player actions, where players take turns executing specific abilities using the action disks, red tokens. Gameplay loop, phase 4. Phase 4 follows a specific...
Okay, so it's just going through what they need to do and whatnot. I do have a question, which is, should I have had this AI go ahead and write the code? Not the complete code, but diffs, basically little bitty parcel pieces of code, and just had the AI implement them. I'm going to ask this AI about that, and we'll go forward. As I'm reading through your instructions for the coder, I'm wondering if you should have made the diffs and not had the coder do any thinking. I think we would have gotten further or closer to a one-shot versus having it think and code at the same time. We're going to be very prone to errors and very prone to not getting everything done. What is your opinion? We're already on 700, 800, 840. So we're getting a lot of code done while we're jerking around with this one. I really think we messed up. We shouldn't have had this coder, we shouldn't have had the AI coder doing the thinking. See, here's an error. We're already, here we go. You're absolutely right. Blah, blah, blah. I knew I was right.
You are absolutely right. My honest opinion is that asking the AI to figure out the logic, think, and write the syntax, code, simultaneously for a complex state machine like Phase 4 is a recipe for disaster, exactly like we saw with the topology issue. When the logic is complex, like multi-step actions, select tile, to move key.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We have our code still in here. This is the last code it made. It looks like you've encountered an error. What I'm going to do is paste the last version of the code into the canvas area. Please await further instructions on what we want to do next. So we're going to paste our code there. And hopefully it doesn't start working, because we'll have new instructions. These instructions are going to be better instructions.
Cube, to select again. The AI often hallucinates edge cases or simplifies the rules to make the code easier to write. The diff strategy versus component swap strategy. While line-by-line diffs, like Git, are risky in large HTML files because the AI often loses track of closing brackets, I propose a component swap strategy. This is the closest we can get to a one-shot success. Instead of asking the coder to implement phase 4, we will predefine the state machine. We, you and I, define the exact switch case logic for every action in English first.
Okay, it started coding again. We don't want that. We have entered into a really weird space. It wants to finish its last task. We don't want it to finish any tasks. So here we go. We're going to be pretty strict. Do not code anymore. Forget any previous tasks that we have given you. Let me know when you're ready for the next phase. Pretty much we got to get it to stop or get a new coder and just start all over, which that's probably the safer thing to do. It says it understands. It said it stopped. We're going to give it phase 2, the last good version, before we started messing with it. Copy this code that I've given you and put it in the canvas area exactly as is. Okay, so now.
Targeted replacement. We ask the coder to provide only the specific functions that need changing, e.g., handle tile click in game UI, completely replacing the old versions. This removes the thinking burden from the coder. They just become a translator from our logic to JavaScript. The improved plan for milestone 3. Here is the strict logic prompt for milestone 3. I have pre-calculated the state transitions so the coder doesn't have to guess. Role. You are a React code generator. Task. Update conflict of plants phase 4. Actions. Method. Component replacement. Do not rewrite the whole file. Provide the full, updated code for only the app component's state logic and handle tile click. 1. State requirements. Add these state variables to app, action round, integer, 1, 2, or 3. Tracks which of the 3 action disks is being played. Turn index, integer. Tracks whose turn it is within the action round. Subphase, string, e.g., select underscore source, select underscore target, combat underscore resolve. Action data.
Okay, so it's just giving information to us. We're not really going to, I mean, we could go through there and painstakingly try to figure out exactly what's going on. It's just going to be easier or faster for us to expect it to be right, hopefully, probably bad, and give it to the coder. Okay, so here's our game, the last good state that it was in. We got better instructions that I've copied. I'm going to paste it in here. So now, hopefully, it will be less prone. We're going to have less mistakes. It's going to be less prone to make mistakes, but it's still going to make mistakes. Like I've said before, it's like working with a smart, dumb person. They know everything in the world, but they can't exactly do it without some very specific instructions. They can't use that knowledge until you tell it exactly what you want, and it has to understand what you want. And that's very difficult. Okay, so the code is being written. Let's ask here, what should I expect to see as milestone 3? The one that we're working on right now. whenever I start playing with the demo, what should we see coming up? We'll know what to expect at least. Phase 2. I know that these actions need to actually do something, and that's going to be a lot of play testing to make sure they work.
We'll update the Canvas revised action plan to detail the features you should expect to see in Milestone 3, the action engine, once implemented. This update will outline Movement Helper, a function to handle moving cubes. Specific action behaviors. Foot, drawing tiles, placing them adjacent to existing ones, and calculating VP. Grass, combat the iterative removal process, opponent-all-repeat. Water/wind, selecting and moving cubes. Seedling, scoring based on minority rules on tiles touching weed icons.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. As it was implementing these things, it came into an error. It looks like it came real close I guess it finished it, but it already started with an error. So let's fix the error, or have it fix the error. Let's
Visual
continue.
feedback, what you'll see in the demo, highlighted valid moves, cube animations, etc. I'll edit the document now.
Okay, so now we have a little checkoff document. Here are the things we need to make sure work before we can go to phase 4 global scoring. So now we're just waiting on the coder. It would be amazing if it just worked, but I don't expect it to. It's just not the way things work with AI. Besides these two, you need a third AI to verify that what this guy asked this one to do had gotten done. You can use this same AI to do it, but that's a lot like having a judge and a police, and the police be the same person. In other words, the person who's making the rules is enforcing the rules, which allows for corruption. And you'd be like, well, this is not the Wild West. This is just making a game. Well, this means that if the original AI, this one that's making the instructions, feels that this new rule needs to be implemented, or games, this, you left this rule ambiguous, so this is what it should be, it's going to go ahead and look and say, yeah, I did tell the AI to do that. What you need is a separate verifier to go, hey, wait a minute, this is beyond the scope of the original plan. This AI asked this other AI to do this thing, and I noticed a little discrepancy. And then it'll stop what they call context. What is it? Basically, where it's the project is expanding past what you want it to be. Context creep. I know it's like watching paint dry. That's why I usually have like 3 or 4 tabs open and I'm doing whatever, especially during this thing. And it might, let's make sure that it is coding. Cool. Another error. Write me instructions for a verifier who's going to look at the code and make sure that the changes were implemented per your instructions. We'll do this in another AI prompt, basically another tab in the browser. Okay, so we're going to make a verifier to verify these changes get made. Since we don't know how to code, and look through the code ourselves, even if you did, I think you would want a verifier just to make sure you didn't miss something. We're at 208. Hopefully it's not stuck. Nope, it's not stuck. Cool. Here's the instructions. Boom, we'll go back. We're going to put the original file in here. the one that's being modified. Here in a moment, I'm going to paste some code to check against this original file. This is going to be a modified version, but do not start comparing the two after I paste in the code. After that, I'll give you instructions on what you're looking for in comparison. So we have three AIs going. We have the one making the instructions, the one coding the instructions, and the one that's going to look and say, hey, did this dude do it right?
I have processed the Phase 2 HTML file you uploaded. I understand the codebase, which is a single file React application for the Conflict of Plants game engine, featuring hexagonal grid logic, axial coordinate systems, pixel conversion, and a graph builder for tile, corner topology. Game state management, handling phases, setup, change round, manipulation, dispense, player turns, and randomized board generation. Rendering, an SVG-based hex renderer and a DOM.
Okay, so here is the modified version. And then we're going to go over here and get our instructions. So he's comparing the original and then the modified version. We're giving him the instructions that we made over here to make sure that those things have been implemented, and comparing it to the files. Let's see before then what he was saying.
I have received and processed the modified code. I can see that this version includes the implementation for Phase 4, player actions, including new logic, specific handlers.
Okay. Okay, so this will be a good place for us to stop. But this also gives me something to show you. So first part is it passed, which is great.
Summary, pass. The provided code successfully implements the Phase 4, action engine, logic, state management, and turn transitions. The big 6 inches actions, foot, grass, weed, water, wind, seedling, are correctly handled with appropriate subphases and validation logic. Audit details, state management, action round, 1 to 3, is correctly tracked in increments when the turn order loops. Subphase is effectively used to manage multiple.
All right, so it's showing us the code that it's got. Everything's great. So here's the interesting part, this right here.
You've reached your Pro model limit. Responses will use other models until it resets on January 26th, 6:59 p.m. Upgrade for higher limits and more.
Okay, so here's what we're looking at. We can't use Gemini until 6:59 tomorrow because we reached our token limit. Basically, it coded so much that we went through what our allotted amount is. I'm going to show you my workaround for that. I could continue working with it, but it won't be, if you see down here, it says Pro model. You don't want to go to the fast model because it's prone to make mistakes for coding. It will not let you use the thinking model, I believe, because we've reached our limit. But that's fine. I'll show you my workaround in a moment, maybe if we get that far. Okay, so it says it works. I doubt it. I mean, it's going to work, but I'm sure we're going to have to fix some stuff. So we're going to take our code. We take our code. We're going to copy the contents. You can Control A, C, or you can click this and copy it. Take it to your WebPad++ that we built. Paste it in there. Here's the preview. It seems to be working just great. We'll save it. It's under index 18. We'll go ahead and open it. Index 18. Okay, so here's the game. 2-player, Boom. Let's go ahead and make it bigger. All right, so start of game. What it's going to do is we're going to go through our players. We're in a 2-player game. The deck is 13, which the deck is these hexes. Start the game. We're the blue player. The blue player is going basically has a copy of, see these circles right here? These circles are different types of tokens. We have a deck of tokens that match these. So this GR means grass, water, wind, weed, the foot icon, and another weed token. So we have 2 weed tokens. I don't think that's right. Let's look at the map. I mean, the original rules. Rules. We should have. It's got grass, water. That's seedling. There's seed. So we got grass, water, seed. Oh, weed and grass. Okay, that it was my mistake, not the game's mistake. Okay, so we're right. So we're gonna draw a tile. Boom. Oh, it's missing that. It's missing the whole first section. It's not letting us actually play it. Reveal action. Oh no, we're right. Okay, so blue player draws a water. So I've got to pick a water tile on here. A tile that is adjacent to water. Oh, the only tile that's adjacent to water is this one. We select it. We can select either the forest or the marsh. It's going to put 4 cubes there. It's selected in white, which is pretty cool. Boom, it put 4 cubes there. Next, we're going to reveal another card, which is or another token, which is going to match one of these tokens. This is wind, so these 2 are adjacent to the wind token. These 2 hexes. Place 2 there. We're just testing it. Wind, we chose wind again randomly, so we can put 1 token here, one of these 2 spots. So we'll put another token there. So we've got 4 tokens here, 3 tokens there. The green player goes up. Green player is next to water. They can play 4 tokens. We're going to play 4 tokens right here, so they're alone. Reveal. Now they're going to place 2 tokens. 2 more tokens here. So 4 for blue, 3 for blue there. In the marsh, green has 6. Now they're going to place 1 more. They don't want to place it here. They will place it there. Okay, cool. Then we're going to go to the next player. Next player is, oh, there's only 2 players. Roll dice. Switching wind for wind. Action disc. Revealed foot. These 2, what does the foot icon do? So, oops, let's go to the rules. Let's see what foot does. I don't remember. Action phase. We have them all defined in the action phase somehow. Actions. Oh, it's done by icon. Weed, grass, foot. This action allows a player to draw 1 tile from the expansion deck, the exploration deck. That player then places the tile on the map. I remember what it does now. So we've got a foot. So it didn't do the actions. So we know that the game isn't correct. It's having us put more tiles. More cubes. Putting more cubes. More cubes. More cubes. More cubes. And then it's giving us the dice thing. Maybe it doesn't understand how the game should work, but we should have been in the action phase. So what we'll do is, let me show you what my workaround is. Okay, so I have an account. That account is under my original name, which is right here, mo@theboardgamegroup.com. What I did as a workaround, I pay for this account to have, Google Docs, all the Google stuff, and host my domain so that my email will go to mo@theboardgamegroup.com will go, and I have that all with Gmail. Gmail manages all that. What I did is I made 2 more accounts. I do have to pay for them. Those 2 other accounts also get the same amount of data. I mean, the same amount of coins that my original account does. So I've got 3 accounts, and whatever that token limit is, that token limit for AI, let's say it's 100, each account has that. So I'm paying less to get the same amount. If I started a new account with Google, or if I went up to the next tier, it cost more than splitting my account between different email addresses. So basically, let me see if I've got a program here. I've got other accounts that are all under my main account. So this one has a brand new token amount, the same amount that my original account does. So I can continue going forward. The only problem is this Gemini sessions are different than my other ones. So basically I have to start all over with context. But that'll allow us to look at this. So what we're going to do is see right here where it says work. Here it says work, but there's a M icon for Mo at thenudecubes.com. That's one of my other email addresses. And nude cubes isn't bad. It means that a cube has no paint on it for board games. But anyway, all right. So let's get we'll go here. We're going to upload that file that we were just looking at, index 18. Okay, we also need to give it the rule book. Conflict of Planets Rules 2.0. Okay, we need to give it let's go ahead and export that to document so I have it saved. Let's go ahead and copy this and place it in here along with the prompt. We'll open the canvas area. Let's give it a prompt. I'm currently working on this game and I'm in the middle of getting it coded. Here are the rules to the original game. Here is the current version of the HTML. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to interact with the actions yet, but it sure doesn't let me do it yet. So what we're going to do here is give you the action plan, give you these 2 documents, and you let me know, am I supposed to be able to interact with the actions, or is that for a later phase? They've been built, but they're not visible to the player yet, because I don't even have the action phase available to me. All I'm able to do is send cubes out, and then it goes right to the end of the game. So something's wrong. Don't write any code. Just let me know where we're at. We're trying to do milestone 3. And then I'll give it a version of our current document, which has the milestones. Send it. And we'll see what's up. What's up, Queen? Queen's in the chat, so I don't know Queen, but it's always good to have somebody in the chat. This is probably boring stuff for most people. For me, it's 1:51 at night. I'm probably going to do a little bit more and then stop. Right now, Gemini is turning a PDF into a game. We're right in the middle. We're basically almost to the halfway point of Gemini taking a rule book for a game that I made and turning it into a web-based game. Right now, I'm asking it. Basically, I ran out of data with my original account, so I had to switch over to a different account. So I'm having it to catch up. Let's see where we're at.
Based on the documents and the master action plan you provided, here is exactly where you stand. Short answer: no, you are not supposed to be able to interact with the actions, foot, grass, etc. yet. According to your revised master action plan, the action engine is milestone 3, which is marked as pending. Your plan explicitly states, Do not start until M1 and M2 are verified. Detailed assessment. 1. Why it feels confusing. Code versus plan mismatch. The plan says actions are pending and shouldn't be started. The code actually contains a significant amount of logic for phase 4, actions.
We should be in milestone 3. We just started milestone 3. I had a AI generate a prompt for our coder, and we gave it to the coder, so we should be bag dap in the middle of milestone 3. And while I was testing milestone 3, I noticed there was no actions available. I stopped in the middle of what it was saying because we need to get on the same page first, and then we can start figuring things out. Basically, we had an action plan. We gave it to the coder. We gave it to an AI to take that action plan and turn it to a prompt. We used that prompt in another tab, which was just coding, and we made it code or work on some code. I'm worried that the code isn't right. It's not doing what it should be doing, I thought, but I could be wrong. I could possibly be confused where we should be in our action plan. So now this AI we're trying to get it up to speed so that we can continue forward. Hopefully we're not too far back. Here's the game. Here's the, where is it at? Do we have the game PDF? Yeah. Here's the PDF I originally gave it. Basically, it's a game I made in like 2010-ish. It's a physical game, works great. Very good rule book, I think. Problem is trying to get it turned into a web-based game. Oh no, it's starting to code. We don't want it to code. I forgot to tell it not to code. Please do not code unless I explicitly give you instructions to code. But as a general rule, you're not allowed to code. We have a coder to do that. You can make diffs, and we can copy those and give it to the coder. But the coder job is only to code, and yours is to tell us where we're at in the project and come up with prompts for the coder. So we're in the middle of milestone 3. Let me know if milestone 3 is complete. I'm not able to interact with the actions, so I'm worried that we did not complete milestone 3. Yeah, so basically Gemini 3.0 is extremely proactive. It'll just start writing code if you're even talking about code. It'll just like, hey, I'll fix it, and just start doing it. It doesn't care about your token count. It is going to burn through tokens if you don't have a handle on it and stop it from always generating code. Have a dedicated coder, and the rest of your AIs just have it doing thinking, not generating code. All right, so this looks interesting. Cool. All right.
Based on the current codebase, index 18, HTML, and your description, here is the status report for Milestone 3. Project status, Milestone 3, Action Engine, status, incomplete, blocked. You are technically in the middle of Milestone 3 because the logic for the actions, foot, grass, seedling, etc., has been written into the code. I can see it in handle action and handle tile click, but the interaction layer is broken. The problem: the code has the brains for the actions but lacks the bridge to get there. The game seems to be mishandling the transition from Phase 3, dispense, to Phase 4, actions, causing it to either skip the phase.
Okay, so let's put this guy over here. Let's go here. We need a coder. Remember, he's out of tokens, so we'll go ahead and do that. Why it failed. Here's what we're going to prompt the coder. So we have a coder here. We need them to open the canvas area. So we click the little canvas thing. We're going to upload our current code, which is this one. We're going to give it this prompt. Task 4.
Entirely or fail to render the Select Action buttons. Why it's failing. Transition glitch. When the last cube is dispensed in Phase 3, the code attempts to switch phase to player_actions. If the variable action round or turn order isn't reset perfectly, the game thinks Phase 4 is already over and jumps straight to Phase 5, end of demo. UI visibility. Even if it enters Phase 4, if the subphase variable isn't strictly set to select_action, the buttons for foot, grass, etc. will remain hidden. Prompt for your coder. Here is the specific instruction set to give your coder to unblock milestone 3. Task: debug Phase 4 transition and unlock action UI. Context: we are in milestone 3. The logic for the action icons, foot, grass, etc., is in the file, but I cannot interact with them. When Phase 3, dispense, ends, the game skips Phase 4 or fails to show the action buttons.
Okay, so I'm going to tell it that, well, we'll probably see this mistake because I didn't give it the milestones. I didn't give it the action plan. So it doesn't know exactly what to do. Hopefully it can infer it, but I doubt it.
Objectives: fix Phase 3 to Phase 4 transition. In handle tile click, locate the end of Phase 3 inches logic. Ensure that when switching to phases, player_actions, action round is explicitly reset to 1 and subphase is explicitly set to select_action. Critical check. Ensure next turn Phase 4 isn't being called immediately upon entry. Force UI rendering. In the game UI component, verify that the player_actions block is rendering. Add a temporary console log or visual indicator, e.g., Phase 4 active, to prove the game state has changed. Implement a debug jump, optional but recommended. Add a temporary button in the HUD labeled Jump to Actions that forces game state to phases, player_actions. Subphase, select_action. Action round, 1. This will allow us to test the actions, foot, grass, etc., without playing through phases 1 to 3 every time. Definition of done. The user must be able to finish placing cubes in Phase 3, see the round 1, Phase 4 inches header appear, and click the foot or grass buttons to trigger the action logic already written.
Okay, so those are instructions for the coder. I don't know if the coder needs more context. I'm assuming yes. We'll see. Maybe there wasn't. I mean, it didn't reference anything that wasn't already in the code, I assume. But we'll see. We are at line 1017. We're getting close to the end. 1075. It's watching paint dry. We're getting close. I see action weed and what it should do. All right, here we go. Okay, so they did add that little thing where we can switch to the next round, to the next phase. That's cool. Let's go ahead and get this code. We'll copy it. We'll put it in our WebPad++. We'll go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and see it. So here's our game. 2-player. Let's go ahead and enlarge it so you guys can see what we're doing. We got a 2-player, so we'll start the phase. Reveal action token, so it got foot, so I can place tokens in one of these 2 spaces. Basically, this icon matches this one. This token matches that token, so I can place 4 into one of these 2. So I'll place 4 there. Reveal next action token, wind, which is these 2. It highlights it in white, which is kind of cool. We're going to place 2 tokens to one of these 2, so we'll put it in the grass. Reveal another token, wind, so we're looking at these 2 spots. We'll put one more here. So we have 3 tokens there for blue, 4 tokens there. So you're putting tokens onto this hex map, 4 tokens, then 3, and then 2 tokens, then 1 token. So now after you do that, we'll go to the next player. So that was blue player. Now we're green player. Reveal grass. So the grass tokens are here, but this is also a grass token. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense unless you saw the original game. But let's go ahead and we'll choose. We have 4 tokens to place. We'll place them there. We have another grass. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we put the next 2 tokens. So we have 1 token left. We'll put it right here. So we just have a shit ton. All right. Here are our actions. Interesting. So let's try the foot action. We remember is to add a new tile. So we'll click the foot action. We can, oh, dude, this is one of the places. This is new. This is the first time I've ever seen it. So this is pretty cool. We can place it. Let's say we place it here. Boom. Sweet. Let's try a different action. Let's look at what the actions do. I forgot because it's been a long time since I've played the game. This is the older version. So let's go to, where are the rules at? There we go. That's the rules. We'll put the rules at the end. Cool. Scroll down to actions. Phase 4, actions. Okay, so that's feat. Let's try fight. This is the combat action. Basically, it's going to look at all the tokens in a place and fight them. So we'll do, basically they're going to eliminate the other tokens. So we're green player. We're going to pick grass. This is where it can fight. We'll pick there. Basically, we killed all their tokens. Blue player is going to pick one. What's another action we can try? This is pretty cool. I dig it. Seed icon. This icon allows you to place, for a player to place one of his player cubes on any legal tile. So we'll do, which one was called? It's seedling. Seedling is this one. We can place it in any one of those places. Let's place it here. So there's our token. It worked. Badass. Score. What was the scoring part of it? Next. Choose a tile that has a weed. This one. So we can choose that one and it scored and we made some points. I can explain that later. That's game stuff. I'm just kind of making sure it works. So we know that grass works. We know that weed works. No, we don't know that weed works. We know that grass works. We know that foot works. And we know that seedling works. What was the next action? Water icon. This action allows a player to select a player cube belonging to another player and move it to an adjacent tile. This player does this 2 times in total. The same cube can be selected. So that was water, right? Water. So we'll go water. We'll move one of these. We'll go there. And then we'll go one of these and we'll go there. Boom! It worked! Dude, this is amazing. This makes me happy. Okay, next. Next icon. Weed. This action allows a player to select a player cube on the map belonging to another player. This player cube is removed from the game. The player taking this action selects one of his own player cubes and moves it to an adjacent legal tile of this map. So let's look at, so we basically here in the illustration say we picked them, and then we moved ours to there. So we are green. So this is green. So green, we still need to do the second part of the select a reward, which is one of these. So we'll select the water. And we'll skip that. We'll figure that out later. Okay, so we're going to do this what was it? The weed icon. Weed. We are blue. Blue wants to do that. So it removed one, and then it's going to move this one to there. Sweet. It worked. Wind icon. This action allows a player to select a cube belonging to themselves and move it to an adjacent tile. They do this 3 times. They can choose the same cubes over whatever. So this is wind. We're going to move. We're going to go far with these. We're going to go wind. Go here. We'll move that there. Wind, move that there. Wind, move that there. Dude, it's working. Can you believe it? Next one. Oh, that's all of them. Cool. We'll go to the next phase. Action 1 of 3. Huh. Okay. Interesting. So it had this little middle phase thing. That's weird. That'll need to be fixed. So now we're actually doing stuff. I don't know. Okay, so the blue, let's say they chose, what was it, weed? That was pretty cool. Weed. Blue player gets rid of this green one and then moves them into there. Cool. Let's go ahead and, what was it, foot? Add that one. We'll do foot again, add that one. Cool. Now we're to the green player. We'll go foot. We're just doing the foot to get to the next thing. Bam. It's kind of got that a little screwed up, I think. Modify map not been implemented. Go to the next one. Action 1. Okay. So it doesn't kind of understand how the game works. We'll have to fix it. But it's sort of working. It's pretty cool to go from, at the start of this whole thing, we started from just a rule book. We didn't give it any graphics. I do have all the elements of this thing, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go from just a rule book to web game. There's still a lot more that need to be done. We need to finish. We've got 5 milestones. We're on milestone 3. We need to go back in and fix how this works. It's got the gist, but it doesn't understand the phase structure, and it's getting really late. So I'll probably continue this series tomorrow or the next year or whenever I get back to it of implementing this game. But as you can see, it's a lot of work to get AI to do the thing you need it to do. But at the same time, you're not coding. You're just troubleshooting the whole way. This is really cool. I'm really happy with what we have. It's I've never done this with this game, so seeing the game go from nothing to this. I mean, nothing in the digital world to this. I say nothing in the digital, nothing in the HTML world. There's a Vassal module for it. It's on Tabletop Simulator. And this is the first time that I've tried to mess with it with Gemini 3.0. And AI is always impressing me. I play with it daily. I use it more than 40 hours a week. And yeah, this is really good. We are getting way closer to this game being done, which is cool. Anyway, this is going to be the end of this stream. We'll go ahead and pick it up on the next video. How you turn this damn thing off?